Hello, dear friends. Here we are. We're back with the Medium's Harvest, and you're welcome to join us. This is day one of a 90-day journey. A 90-day journey. Can you believe it? And we're not alone, because we're going to begin with a new study in a topic that people have been requesting for the longest time. The Spiritist clarification on mediumship. It is needed. And we're not alone, because we have here Emmanuel with us. Emmanuel. In the book Seara dos Médiuns by Emmanuel through Chico Xavier. What a joy. What a joy to be studying together this book that celebrated in 1961 100 years of the Spiritist teachings. Seara dos Médiuns, the Medium's Harvest, is coming about in English thanks to a group effort. First, the effort of the Inner Enlightenment Spiritist Society. They have translated at least a third of the book this far, and we're going to continue this work as well. So it is very, very important for us to know exactly how to get to this beautiful journey. We are here with you live, and we'll be here hopefully live every day for the next 90 days. And it's going to be the format, just to clarify. We're going to read the chapter because they're kind of short, and we're going to study highlights of it, thinking of all those around the world that are willing to understand more about mediumship from the Spiritist perspective. It is needed. It is the latest and the ultimate frontier, is to study and to practice mediumship in a safe way. And only Spiritism brings to you and to I, this single opportunity. Okay? So here we are at Kardec Radio, and we are willing to make sure that everyone through the app or there listens to us. We were in a beautiful trip to Brazil, visiting several Spiritist organizations, and we can tell you, for all of you who donated books to the Spiritist Center that completed 100 years, we brought 110 books that were donated to Kardec Radio so we could bring it to them, and we did. Karen, Mark Smith, Carlos Diaz, Virginia, and I were able to be there delivering the books for you, and we thank you very much, because the library is expanding as we speak. We thank Andrew Moreira for the books he sent and all the other friends, and we were there able to meet in person our friend who is here, Karina Lissi. You're awake. God bless your efforts, my friend. Karina Lissi and Clea Larson and another friend. They were there kindly bringing to us a lot of good energy and a lot of teachings, and plus, surprising enough, Karina Lissi surprised us with this book, Seara dos Médiuns, first edition, autographed by Chico Xavier. She was able to find this very book, very book, and we rejoice here with you, because it's the way we're going to double check all the teachings here. So first edition of the book we're studying. This book was first published in 1961, when this Medium's book by Kardec completed 100 years. In celebration to the centenary of the Medium's book, Emmanuel wrote this book. So if you and I, or anyone who is willing to understand mediumship under the light of Spiritism, wants to know more about mediumship, read the medium's book and then read this book. But this book is coming about in English. We're very thankful to the efforts of the Inner Enlightenment Spiritual Society for kickstarting their studies on this and the translation, and we're going to continue the works here in our group in Virginia and at Kardec Radio. How does the introduction begin? Emmanuel, on January 1st, 1961, published this very page, the very first page. He says, dear reader, he's telling you and I, the Spiritist doctrine in its first century of life somewhat resembles a robust tree spreading branches, flowers, fruits, and essences in all directions. It is inevitable that such principles dictate its movements, like birds weaving fleeting nests on the branches of a generous trunk. However, it is also beyond doubt that farmers who tend to its field owe it their devotion and care, so that its roots remain pure and vigorous. With this in mind, we proceed in our humble commentary of the codification, presenting in this tome the adorned undertaking upon which we were allowed to embark, beginning in 1960, when we had the joy of working alongside our brothers from Uberaba for 90 Monday and Friday evenings at the Spiritist Center Comunhão Espírita. Thus, the Medium's book, which celebrates its centennial in this very year of 1961, became the object of our most special attention. Now let's put a pause here. Emmanuel, in an analogy saying 60, he's talking about when Spiritism completed 100 years in 1957. And then 3 years later, he started this work for 90 days, and on January 1st, 1961, when the Medium's book was completing 100 years of its publication, they published this page. And then the Brazilian Spiritist Federation published the book. So he's comparing Spiritism to a tree, generous, fruitful, but he's calling our attention, yours and mine, as farmers, to our devotion and care. We owe it. So first and foremost, we're going to ask you, what is your commitment? And this is not an invasive question, but it's a question for us. What is our commitment to Spiritism? Because we received the fruits of this generous tree that came through mediumship and still do. And the question for all of us is, are we just eating these fruits, or are we devoting ourselves to sharing it, to multiplying it, to taking care of it? He says devotion and care. And he didn't say only Chico Xavier, only a few. He said you and I, all of us. We're all being asked to devote ourselves to the cultivation of this, the seeds of the gospel. They came back through the hands of the mediums and compiled by Kardec. So he says here to us, hopeful that other workers come forth to remediate our imperfections with clear interpretations and more efficient contributions, we remain our task of modest exhibitors of the Spiritist religion, which is the religion of the gospel of Christ, for the sublimation of the intelligence and enrichment of the heart. So when we talk about sublimation and enrichment, we're talking about improvement, learning the new. If we are not learning the new, we are stagnated. Kardec asked this question to the spirits. Can we regress in our evolution? And the spirit said, no. But we may, due to our free will, delay our progress and the progress of others. How so? How do I deter my own progress? How do I deter the progress of others? It's simple. As the great grandniece of Professor Euripides Barçanufo, who has been responsible for his school and his legacy in the city of Sacramento, Minas Gerais. We were there to see it. She said, good and evil are inevitably, easily different. There's no doubt. So how do I know that I'm deterring my progress and I am stagnated, or I am deterring the collective progress? When I do not learn the new. When I do not learn the new, I need to expose myself to the new. And the new comes with new environment, new circumstances, externally and internally. We come to an era in which we need the new inside of us, new thoughts, new feelings. No wonder Emmanuel in the book Thought and Life said, we need to seek the good. And it's not trivial, because seeking the good, it's not something we've done for many lives. We're conditioned to habits that not necessarily are good. So we need to find the new. But traveling around the world is not going to give us any new if my lenses are still the same. So I need to change the way I see things. How do I change the way I see things? By reading books, by talking to people that know different things, listening, paying attention, like children. What is the difference between children and us? The maturity of the physical body, the development. But as spirits, children may be more older than us. But when they are experiencing childhood, we think they are supposed to expose themselves to the new. And they are open. And then we grow, and society corrupts our mind. In the sense of, tells us that we are older. And older dogs don't learn new tricks. And actually, we do. Science says it, neuroscience proves to us. Since the year 2002, through the neuroscientific efforts of Dr. Fred Gage at University of California in San Diego, we get to know that even if we're aging physically, if we expose ourselves to the new environment, new activities, our brain has an inbuilt system to create new neurons and then new connections, synapses. But the condition is expose ourselves to the new. Do you expose yourself to the new daily? Usually we don't. We escape out of fear. Many people don't study mediumship because they are afraid. Because it's new. They're like, I don't know what it is. What is it? Spirits? We're going to talk to the dead? Come on, please. This is creepy. This is morbid. I don't know what it is. But wait, don't go away. Stay there. What if this is about you? What if this is precisely what you've been missing? Parts of you haven't talked about. You didn't know your capacity. So that's why Emmanuel, in the first chapter of this book, titled A Century of Spiritism, he opens the meeting telling us, and I'm going to read to you. This is the first time that this book is coming public in the world. So let us listen. Let us intake the new and see how we can boost our capacity to another level. Emmanuel says, and this has been more than a century and a half already. Back then, it was a century. In an entire century of activity, we have seen science searching passionately for the reality of the spirit. Indisputable proofs have been denied. And they were so many that Richer was able to articulate with great success the classical basis of metaphysics, utilizing resources as expressive and convincing as those used in the exposition of any of the problems in pathology or botany. Distinguished wise men, such as Wallace and Zollner, Crookes, Lombroso, Myers and Lodge, activating notable mediums, performed experiments of incontestable value. However, if it is, if in these 50 years, mediumship has served the brilliant work of scientific observation, projecting human beings' inquiries into the spiritual sphere, it is only fair that it now satisfy the moral necessities of the earth, transporting to humans warnings from the spiritual sphere. If the first 100 years of Spiritism beheld admirable achievements, from the profound calculations of nuclear physics to the rudiments of astronautics, it just saw as well terrible calamities, the wars of conquest, in which the prisoner camps were theaters for the most heinous scenes of barbarism and degradation in the name of rights. The technique of mass destruction of cities, the political inquisitions, made to resemble the old religious inquisitions, muzzling the liberty of conscience, the proliferation of abortion, the abortion industry. At times with the support of respectable authorities, the growing wave of suicides, the delirium of narcotics, the abuse of hypnosis, the rampant proxenetism, which is the negotiation of sexual favors, transformed inelegant habit of modern life, the increase of the so-called perfect crimes, manifesting the perversion of the human intelligence, and a frightening amount of mental illnesses based on obsession. Therefore, a scientific spiritism, one that spends an indefinite amount of time exploring the survival of the soul beyond the grave, does not suffice. Aside from the most eminent researchers' elevated proposals, groping the realms of the soul, we must not forget the edification of the feelings. Thus, when repeating Christ's lessons to the tormented world, we find ourselves not just in front of a social spiritism, but in the midst of a movement recovering human dignity. For in truth, we are to enlighten the people in the face of irresponsible materialism that shadows universities and governmental offices, administrations and councils, laboratories and temples, halls and crowds. Christ's gospel is urgently needed. This is the first chapter of the book, The Medium's Harvest. And you may be asking, but Vanessa, what is this to do with mediumship? Everything. Because spiritism without mediumship does not exist. It says in the name, spiritism, spirits. So if you are studying spiritism without the practice, you are a theoretical spiritist. We need to give one step ahead. Practice inside, but practice this natural exchange into realms. I'm not asking you to open a mediumistic meeting, but to contemplate the edification of feelings. You and I, incarnated, the discarnates were with us, watching, participating all over the world. They are also asking themselves, who am I? Where have I come from? Where do I go to? So Emmanuel is saying, scientific spiritism does not suffice. We don't need proof. We need to work on our feelings. How so? You are a spirit that is progressing. Are you open to progress? Because progress means change, new. You ready to let go of the old and let in the new? That's a good affirmation, my friends. I let go of the old. I let in the new. I let go of the old. I let in the new. And welcome the new. Don't be afraid. Because there is a lot of good, new, in the world awaiting you. And part of it is your own mediumistic ability. Spiritism brings to us mediumship with Jesus. Forgive me. Excuse me. Christ's Gospels is urgently needed. Why? It's not enough to know that we survived the soul, that we progress. But it's important to feel that the discarnates are on the same journey. That the incarnates will encounter their children of God. That they also need to progress. We need to grow. Thank you, Anthony Franklin. I have water here. You've given me permission. Thank you. So here we have, friends, the opportunity of learning the new in the medium's harvest. As Emmanuel is saying, we are cultivating this fruitful tree that has produced fruits like the one we are eating tonight. So, big question for us tonight, what are we doing with our opportunities to learn the new? Because to immerse ourselves in the medium's harvest, we need to empty our cup, to fill it in and fill it up with new information. So, we're going to ask you, from now to the next 89 encounters, allow yourself to reset and listen to Emmanuel in his breakdown of the teachings of the very medium's book, and immerse yourself into the new that is opening to you an opportunity to progress, an opportunity for me to see the new and progress as well. So that's the proposal for all of us. Mediumship served brilliant work scientifically. Why is he saying this? Because if you talk to scientists, they're going to tell their intuitions, their dreams, their insights, the inspiration that came to them. They are mediums, they don't know. The question now is for us. We must not forget the edification of the feeling. Edification means we need to elevate, edify, to build, to construct. What? New way of feeling. That's why we need to look at ourselves in the mirror every day and say, I love myself. And I'm going to tell you something. Whether you change your hair color, use a wig, or don't use a wig, or you cut your hair, made it grow, use makeup, love ourselves has nothing to do with it. Some people think that to love ourselves is not to polish their nails, is not to use perfume. I need to be natural and accept myself as I am. But you can accept yourself and, learn how to co-create with God and say, God, you've given me the science of makeup. Let me use makeup whenever needed. Let me use a new hair color if needed. You can love yourself with the hair color you were born with, or with a different color. That's external. What's important is if we love ourselves, yet to be patient, yet to be faithful, yet to be loving, yet to be kind, yet and not there yet. Yet not there yet. Do you love yourself yet not there yet? That's the question. In the medium's harvest, we're going to learn the edification of the feelings. A good medium is the one that knows what they feel, what the spirits that are connecting to them feel, what the incarnates that are next to them feel, and they know what to do next. It's not about not feeling. It's about elevating those feelings. So we really need, in this journey of the medium's harvest, work together in the edification of the feelings. How? With Christ. So take the gospel according to Spiritism. And there are 12 points, virtues, that we should aim at improving, from patience to being tolerant, to being loving and kind, and seeing ourselves at another level. The good medium, shares Kardec with us, is the one that is easy in the hands of good spirits. And to be easy in their hands, I need to log in the account of these good spirits. It's about syntony, frequency, attunement. How can I attune with them? By edifying the feelings. Edifying the feelings. So here's the challenge for all of us. Let's expose ourselves to the new. And the new feelings. Feelings we have not felt. Good feelings. Seeking good feelings. Seeking good thoughts. Naturally, good actions and good words are going to follow through. We're going to say hi to our community here as we are back. And for those who needed the message, most part of the message is given. And now, since this is a live session, it's fair that we say hi to those who are here with us and those who are listening on demand. Big hug to you too. Teresa Catapano, how are you? Katia, how are you? Aline da Silva, how are you? And Erica, my friend as well, how are you? Angelita, Fraternity Without Borders. And Adilson is here with us. Andrea Torres, how are you? Beautiful Karina Alice, who granted us the first edition of the book Seara dos Médiuns, autographed by Chico. Unbelievable. Thank you so much, Karina. Patricia and Tiago. Tiago kindly relate to us the Inner Enlightenment's first translation of the first third of the book. We're very grateful to you guys. Rihanna, so thankful to be together with you and Nico. Joyce, beautiful Joyce, it's good to be with you. And Marco Sol, how are you, Sol? And Pérola, how are you, Pérola? It's good to be with you. Rudy, super present, good to be with you. Nina, how are you, Nina, and the beautiful daughters? Vanessa Bezerra, welcome, my friend. Carmen Sueli, how are you? Carol and Mark Smith, good to have you with us. And we have the Spiritist Society of North Beach with us. What a joy. Nubia, how are you? Livia Moraes, it's good to have you here, my friend. Yes, thank you for the tip on the ginger tea. Luciana Nicoliello, we were just together. It's good to be together, huh? Sandra Rita, it's good to have you here. Anthony Franklin, thank you, friend. McCarthy Claire, how are you? Ana Oliveira, how are you from Alabama? Constance, and your husband is there together. Big hug to the both of you and for being together. And Julija, friends, this book, The Medium's Harvest, tells us tonight, in the introduction and the first chapter, two main things, besides many others. Scientific spiritism does not suffice. Studying is not enough. We need to create new feelings. Edify the feelings. And how do we do it? With the good news of Jesus. He's telling you and me, begin anew every day. Every day, my friends. If a family member tells you, but aren't you spiritist? Shouldn't you be supposed to be patient? Yes, me and you, we're all on the earth supposed to be more patient. Not only those who are engaged on spiritism, but of course, we are here in the coaching program of the Christ. So, tomorrow, when you wake up, and if this is already a day for you, Julija, Nico, and others there in Brazil, Australia, South Africa, anywhere, you're in the coaching program of the Christ. So go back to the gym and say, Jesus, I'm back. I'm here. Patience, tolerance, kindness, compassion, and loving kindness. And all the 1,000 virtues that exist on the earth. Begin with one and go on. And then mediumship becomes second nature. Because the medium that is aware of what they are feeling, they are less of an easy prey on the hands of the bad spirits. Or the spirits that try to deceive us. Why? Because I know what I'm feeling. I'm going to give an example for mediums. Oftentimes, when we see, listen to the spirits, talk to the spirits, we feel what they feel. The question is, how do I know the difference between what I feel and what they feel? I need to know myself. That's why I need to constantly ask myself, before saying anything, what am I feeling? Because sometimes people cannot be quiet in a conversation. And Jesus is the example of silence. Sometimes we're in a circle of friends and we're not able to listen simply what people are saying. We have to constantly give our 50 cents. As if we need to constantly reassure people that we're there. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. That medium is going to have problem when they are in a mediumistic meeting, for example. Because their low self-esteem is going to be an open door for the spirits who see an opportunity to come and create some commotion. So I need to observe what I'm feeling. Listen to people. I don't need to say anything. Listen. Pay attention. But Vanessa, what if people wanna, they want me to say something? You say if you have to say, not if people want you to say something. That's the gospel of Jesus. Often Jesus was requested to speak, to give his opinion, and many times he didn't emit a sound of a word. Why? Because silence is golden. mediums need to learn discretion. And discretion only happens with the edification of feelings. I don't need to say. I don't need to show. I don't need to prove. I just need to be. So this experience of being who I am suffices when I am edified in my feelings. That's what Emmanuel is telling us. You may be asking, how do I practice this in my daily life? I'm going to give you a tip because in the United States, Thanksgiving is coming by. Some parts of the world, maybe Canada, they're going to celebrate as well. I don't know. I've heard people are taking over the traditions to other countries. Well, it's a beautiful tradition in spite of the history. But family reunion, it's a good time for us to be and not to do anything. Sometimes we need to put some boundaries, but not say anything. Let them be. People talk. Well, but if I don't say anything, people are going to feel I'm stupid. But if I don't do this, people, you don't have to. That's a good practice. Let people talk. Let people speak. And cultivate, meanwhile, good feelings. Look at the person and allow them to shine. Not only we should shine, but allow people to shine. Let them shine. Let them shine. Let them shine. This little light of theirs. We're gonna let them shine and we're gonna be happy for them. We're gonna be happy for them. That they're shining, that they're speaking, that they are themselves. Unless they are creating obstacles for us. That's another story. And it's another day for discussion. Right, Cesa? Welcome back, Cesa. It's good to be together. So, tonight we're going to stop this conversation here. As Emmanuel invites us into this new study of the medium's harvest. The number one thing for the medium is the edification of the feelings. He says it's a must. And he says to do so, we need the gospel of Jesus. That's urgent. Mediumship comes to, he says, recover human dignity. Spiritist mediumship comes to recover human dignity. And this was written in 1960, published in 1961. How current is this book? Very current. One day, we'd like to wrap up with a true account of Chico Xavier. One day, he saw a spirit in a meeting that resembled a spirit from Moses' time. He saw the spirit talked to Chico, and Chico couldn't understand. So as a good medium, he talked to his mentor, Emmanuel, I don't understand what he's saying. What did he say? Excuse me. And Emmanuel said, he said that when he was here on earth at Moses' time, millennia ago, he came back at this time in the 20th century. He saw some new constructions, physically speaking, new buildings. But he saw very little progress, morally speaking. And we're talking about millennia of progress. 1960, Emmanuel brings to us that Spiritism comes and mediumship with Jesus comes to as a movement to recover human dignity. As a movement to recover human dignity. My dignity, your dignity, the dignity of humanity as a whole. Let us meditate on this, friends. And tomorrow when we come back, we're going to come back for chapter 2 of this book. It's a treasure. And in this medium's harvest, we're going to study together what he calls this business card. What is this about? Just to give you as a teaser, okay? As a teaser, I'm going to read to you one sentence of the chapter tomorrow. Thought is our business card. What? Come back tomorrow to know how thought is your business card. Thank you, friends. Many blessings. Let's expose ourselves to the new.